Hello, everyone, and welcome to English for Honors. My name is Mr. Ruddy, and I apologize that I am not there today. I hate that I am missing the first day, but I want to take some time to introduce the course, introduce your assignments to you so that you're not completely at a loss today. But this video is just going to walk you through the syllabus, introduce yourself, or introduce me to you. And then when I come back, we will talk a little bit more about the class. And we'll also play some icebreakers. I'll learn a little bit more about you. And we will talk a little bit more in detail about what assignments you're going to complete in this class. So what I am going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. And we are going to talk about English for Honors. Now, let me pull up this presentation. So, English for Honors, you have taken 4 high school credit English courses by this point. You took English 1 in the 8th grade, English 2 is freshman year, English 3 is sophomore year, now you're in English 4. English 4 is a British literature survey. Remember, English 2 is a world lit, English 3 was American lit, and this one's British literature. I adore British literature. It's my favorite English and English class to teach, and I'm really glad I do get to teach it. So hopefully that you will end up loving it as much as I do. Now, a little bit about myself. Put these pictures on here so you know what I look like without a mask, but here we are. I'm video chatting with you and I'm not even there. But I went to Clemson University. I have a bachelor's in English, bachelor's in secondary education, graduated in 2019. I am Fort Mill High School graduate. Myself, I walked these hallways. I had some of the same teachers that you did. Miss Kynard, Mr. Krozanki, Mr. Gibson, Mr. Ford, all of them. It's my second year at Fort Mill High School. I taught up in the R Wing last year, taught English 1 and 2, and now I am down here teaching English 4, and I love it so far. Now, this purpose of this slide, just to introduce you, or introduce myself to you a little bit, just my favorite things. Put Grey's Anatomy on there. I binge watched Grey's Anatomy in my 11th grade year at Fort Mill High School. It's the reason why I didn't do that great in Chem 1, because I didn't study, like, ever, and I just watched Grey's Anatomy. I put Marshalls on there because I absolutely adore cheap clothes. Why would you spend money on clothes? Put pasta on there because it's my favorite food. It's also the only food I know how to make. So that's what's on there. I love the Great British Baking Show. It's one of my favorite shows because it is so relaxing, but also makes me like scream at the TV. That's why I love it. Absolutely adore musical theater. You probably see my classroom if you look behind you at the ready letters above it. There's a bunch of playbills, and that's because I've been to see all those shows. So if you like musicals or you want to start liking musicals, you come talk to me. I'd love to talk to you about that. But again, we'll talk a little bit more about me and about ourselves when I come back. Now, I'm going to talk to you very briefly about our classroom and some of my expectations going into this school year. Now, in English for Honors, we are going to read certain core texts. We're actually going to start with short stories. We're going to do a short story unit, elements of a short story. We will read 6 short stories. You will read 3 in class, and you will read 3 outside of class on your own. After we finish short stories, we will go into the Anglo-Saxon time period and read Beowulf, one of the earliest texts. And Beowulf is originally written in Old English. Obviously, we're going to read a translation, but is an epic poem about an epic hero called Beowulf. Then we will get into William Shakespeare's Macbeth, one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. There's a lot of death, destruction, betrayal, ambition. Lady Macbeth is one of the best literary characters in my own opinion, and I love her. And so I really love Macbeth. Then we're going to read Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is a story about 5 of the Bennet daughters as they go through their lives trying to find marriage and partnership and love. And if that doesn't sound interesting to you, I promise you it is interesting. It's one of my favorite novels. Jane Austen's one of my favorite authors. It is so funny, and I really hope you like it. Last semester, about half of my students really loved Pride and Prejudice, and the other half really did not like it. So hopefully that you are on that half that really like it. If you're not, I don't like you. I'm just kidding. And then we're going to do a novel study, and I'm kind of up in the air based on time what novel study we're actually going to do. It's going to be Frankenstein, Pygmalion, 1984, one of those, and we'll make that decision once we get to that bridge. We'll also read some poems, some Romantic, Renaissance, Victorian, modern poetry, and then we'll also read some informational texts, do some research as well. Semester at a glance. This slide walks you through the 18 weeks that you will be in this class. Again, we're starting with elements of a short story. You'll see the major assessments for each unit there, elements of a short story test, and the formal annotation. Weeks 4 through 8 will do Anglo-Saxons and medieval literature. Your major assessment there will be your Beowulf essay and your Anglo-Saxon test. Weeks 9 through 13, which is Macbeth, and then a novel study when your big planned major assessment right there, the one that's not subject to change, is that Macbeth test. And then weeks 14 through 18 is a modest proposal, Pride and Prejudice, and research, which is when you're going to be giving your researched TED Talk. Now that TED Talk is the biggest assignment you will do this semester. Everything kind of builds towards that, and students last semester seem to kind of like it. So hopefully you'll like it as well. You also take a Pride and Prejudice essay test. Now, in English for Honors, there are a bunch of puzzle pieces that go together to make this successful. The first two, relating to reading and writing, you will read a lot of literary texts. It really is the foundation of an English course, is reading those literary texts. Then you will read and write, analytical writing, creative writing. I try to balance it as much as possible. For every time I ask you to write something analytical, I also ask you to write something creative. Research goes into that TED Talk at the end of the semester. We'll learn about research, and then we'll also complete that research project. Discussion and presentation go into this class hand in hand. You need to come prepared to talk. Our last semester class was very great about this. They were very involved. They wanted to talk. That's what I want. I want this class to be fun. I want this class to be interesting. I want us to talk about our lives. I want us to talk about our opinions of the books. I want us to laugh and joke around. And we can't do that if you don't come prepared and also feel comfortable enough to speak. So hopefully you do that in this class. Presentation performance. Presentation goes into that TED Talk aspect. And then performance. We didn't get so much of it last semester. It's one of my favorite things to do, but we didn't really get into it much because of COVID, but we'll see. And the most important part of our puzzle is critical thinking. If that's what I teach you to do in this class, is just to have some kind of thought about something, I did my job and I'm happy with it. I want you to critically think. I want you to have ideas. I want you to support those ideas with evidence and reasoning and explanation. And if you can do that, then that's amazing. Extra help schedule. We're made to have set times, but really, if you need extra help, just let me know. We'll figure out a time that works for both of us. I'm available most days before and after school, and also during your lunch period, especially if you have to make stuff up. So please let me know when you need extra help, and I will help you. Now, get into some very boring stuff about my expectations for this class. You must come to class every day with all written reading homework assignments completed, meaning that you do whatever is assigned to you. I don't give a lot of busy work. I hate busy work. I hated it as a student. I hate it as a teacher. It's extra grading for me. I don't want to do it. Everything I assign you has purpose, and most times your at-home days and your homework assignments would be reading. So you just have to do it, and I ask that you please do it. I can tell when you don't, and that you come prepared to talk about that reading in class. The most important thing on this slide is that all student views and opinions will be fostered within these four walls, and all students should feel comfortable in voicing their opinions. This is a safe space for us to talk and for us to discuss. But the one most important thing to me is that you remain respectful. If you feel the need to be racist, sexist, homophobic, then just get out of my room. We are going to be respectful to each other. We're going to respect opinions and create a fostering environment where everyone feels comfortable and safe and not judged. Now, tardies and absences, you must come to class on time to be considered timely. You must also be prepared when you come to class. I update our Google Classroom site regularly to ensure that you keep up with the work. So it is your responsibility to make sure that you make up your work when you are absent. You should have at this point at the beginning of class already joined Google Classroom and already joined Remind. Both of those are mandatory. It's not a pick and choose situation. I will be checking on my roster to make sure that everyone joined. When you're absent, whether it's because you just have a family trip to go on, or you're quarantining because of COVID, or you have COVID, you need to be checking Google Classroom and also message me on Remind. This isn't a situation where I'm going to respond to you like, check with your classmates first. No, if you ask me what you missed, I'm going to tell you exactly what you missed and exactly what you need to do to make that up. So please let me know when you're out. Late work. Do not accept late work for full credit. If you turn in an assignment late, I can accept it up to 5 days after the due date, but you will lose 10 points every day that it is due. That is for an assignment that is assigned, meaning it has a due date, like a writing piece or some kind of quiz or test you're making outside of school or you're completing outside of school. If it is a homework assignment, and you will know what is the homework assignment, it will not be accepted late. It will go in as a straight up 0, and you don't want that to happen. So please keep that up. Materials for this class, you will need a binder. We'll be keeping a table of contents for every unit. I'm going to force you to be organized in this class. It says composition notebook on here, but I've decided for this semester you do not need a composition notebook. You need a pack of loose leaf notebook paper in order to take some notes. 6 binder dividers. I'll tell you what those binder dividers need to say in just a second. You need a textbook cover. We will keep our textbooks in this classroom. We'll go get them when I get back. So please make sure you have a cover if you want to keep it on the shelf in order to make the process of grabbing them a little faster. You'll need a pack of highlighters. We'll do a lot of hard copy work in this class, we're meaning to give you the story, and that means that you need to annotate as we go through, and having your own set of highlighters is beneficial there, especially during COVID, so we aren't sharing supplies. Binder dividers, there are going to be 6. The first one needs to say short stories. The second one, Anglo-Saxons and Beowulf. The third one, Macbeth. The fourth one, novel study. The fifth one, writing. And the sixth one, vocabulary and grammar. So I will put this back up, especially when you get your supplies. But please get those supplies as soon as possible. I would love to have them for next week so that we can really get started and get organized. Now, grades in this class, major grades such as tests, projects, and writing are worth 60% of your grade. Please note that that is 60% of your grade. That is a big chunk. So you need to be putting in those work for those major tests, projects, and writing. Quizzes, 30% of your grade, and then homework and class participation is only 10% of your grade. As is the same for every other class here at Fort Mill, each 6-week grading period is worth 30% of your grade, and your final exam is worth 10. My daily expectations, every day that you come in here, there will be a slide on the board with the agenda and also what you need to be doing. Some days that will be as simple as grab Chromebook from the cart. Other days it'll ask you to read a poem or complete a grammar exercise or something like that. Some more policies in this classroom. Bathroom, you are all adults, or at least you are approaching adulthood, so you can go to the bathroom when you need to. Just ask me and I will let you go. I ask that you don't ask to go when I'm like giving a lecture, but if we're just completing work or in groups or anything like that, you can ask me to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to offer you extra credit if you don't, so you might as well just go. Now, cell phones, please do not have your cell phones out per school policy. I know that's hard during the day to not have your cell phone out because everyone's attached. We all are. But please just have it put away. I will let you use it on several occasions throughout this class, but please don't just have it out when I am teaching or we're completing an activity. Food and drink, if you want that, just remember you need to pull on your mask, take a bite, and then put it back up. Your masks have to stay on at all times when you're in this classroom. And then textbooks, we'll go get those together when we get back to school. Now, summer reading, as you probably know by now, as none of you have asked me, summer reading is optional. So Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was the assigned summer reading for previous years, but this year we decided to make it optional, so you do not need to do it. We're not going to talk about it unless I do decide that's going to be one of our novel studies. Okay, in a second, I'm going to ask the sub to pause this video and you're going to go complete the student survey that is in Google Classroom. If you have not joined Google Classroom, you need to do that first so that you can get to the survey. I ask that you be as honest as possible on this survey and as detailed as possible as you complete the student survey. It'll just let me know about you and your home life and access to technology, all of that stuff. So please fill that out as honestly as possible and as much detail as possible. After you complete that, once everyone is done, we will come back on this video and I will introduce your next assignment, what you're going to be working on for the rest of this class period. So go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so now we are going to talk about your assignment for the rest of this class period. So we went through a little bit of an introduction to the class. I realized that was very quick. I talked very fast. I normally don't speak this fast, but it is because this is my second take of this video and I kind of don't want to talk about this class anymore. So we're going to talk about our assignment for the rest of this class period. Now, as you get started on this assignment, which I'm about to introduce to you, you can ask me any questions. You send me a message on Remind, send me a message through Google Classroom, and I'm on my computer. I'm going to be answering those immediately. So you shouldn't just sit there confused. You should ask me those questions. So what you are going to do is you are going to go to your Google Classroom page. Show you what this looks like. So your Google Classroom page, if you go to the classwork tab, so when you click on your class page, and I just picked up First Block 8A, it's the same for all my honors sections. Click on classwork. You will see Unit 1A, College Admissions Essays, with 4 assignments that are under there right now. The first thing that you are going to do is you are going to go through the College Essays Introduction presentation. Let me pull that up. So you are going to go through this. I think it's like 30 slides. It's going to walk you through a college admissions essay. So what I've decided to do at the beginning of this class is we are going to learn about what it means to write a college admission essay, and then you are going to write one. Oftentimes, college admission essays ask you to be personal, ask you to tell stories about your past. At the start of every English course in the past, I have asked students to write about themselves, basically like an all about me essay. But this, I think, has a little bit more value because I'm going to talk to you about what it means to write a college essay. You're going to learn those skills. And by the end of this, you even have an artifact that you could actually use on a college essay. A lot of you are going to be filling out the Common Application, which is a program where a bunch of colleges let you just fill out one application, and then they get applied to all the different schools you want to go to. And so this is going to teach you how to answer the essay prompts that are on these essays. This presentation will walk you through all of them. For example, prompt analysis number 1, some students have background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful that they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, please share your story. So you see, it's like a personal story. And then in each of these slides, as you go through each of these prompts, it tells you why this would be a good one for you. Also, what the trap is, where the downfall is, so that you can make a decision on which one you would want to write. So it goes through the Common Application, also the Coalition application, on how to write and answer these essays. It also walks you through the rubric and also walks you or gives you links to look at sample essays. The reason I'm asking you to walk through this is because you are going to be writing your own. So on Google Classroom, there's another assignment sheet, and it is titled English for Honors College Essays Writing Sheet. Once you pull that up, it'll say what you need to be doing for the rest of this class period and for your next few days at home and in person. You're going to pick one prompt, either from the Common App or a specific college from the list below, and write an essay draft for that prompt. You must limit yourself to their word count, which is 650 words. So you should see it's not very long. You're going to complete the editing and revision activity, turn in the essay draft and rubric to me on the date outlined below. So on this document, you will see all of the prompts. You're just going to pick one. It also has all of the due dates there at the bottom that you're going to go through and see whether you're A day or B day when those assignments are due. And the last page of this document is the rubric for how this is going to be graded. This is your first graded assignment for English for Honors. So make sure that you're putting in that effort and completing that. Again, if you have any questions about what you need to be doing, please send me a message on Remind. But this is what you're going to work on for whatever time you have left in class today, and also your at-home assignment tomorrow. If you have any questions, again, please reach out. I again apologize that I am not there today, but I will be back on Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, I will be back in person, and we will get to know each other, play some games, hopefully liven it up a little bit more interesting than just watching a video of me talking to you, which I know isn't thrilling. So if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, you can go ahead and get started. Thanks, guys.